Joel.
Morning, everybody.
Well, what did we think of Cockle Creek? Mel, you first. What did you think of Cockle Creek? Was okay? Got to do some of the things you wanted to do? Challenged yourself with that walk a bit, didn't you? You did. Liz?
I enjoyed just the peace and serenity of it. It was quite nice. Beautiful beach, some walks. We did one walk. There's another walk there, which we might tackle another time, maybe. But no, it's just peaceful. What do you think, John?
Yeah, it's good. We got a probably a premier camp site where we were. We had private access to the beach, which was really nice. Though a few people came through that way, but it didn't really worry us. We braved the elements and actually went for a swim. But today we're heading back to Hobart, so we've got a few things planned for that. We've got a Cascade Brewery tour coming up. We'll hit the Salamanca markets on Saturday, which are always good to do, and look forward to the next few days. From there, we'll head up the east coast. But don't worry about that come Sunday.
Yes.
All right. Cheers, guys. As I said, we hope you're enjoying the trip so far. Hopefully, we're showing you a few little bits and pieces that are not on the main scale map, and you're enjoying it as much as we're enjoying bringing it to you.
Yes.
Cool. Cheers. See you guys later.
Catch you later.
We found another road that allowed us to follow the river back through the valley. We passed many aquatic farms, most likely oyster leases and salmon pens. A quick stop in Geeveston to admire these carvings and the history of the early settlers who logged and opened up this area of Tasmania. Absolutely amazing. Tonight's destination was the Hobart Showgrounds. With the only caravan parks on the outskirts of Hobart, this is a popular place to base yourself whilst visiting the area. There is easy access to public transport, its powered and non-powered sites, washing facilities, showers and toilets. The grounds are currently being redeveloped, so there's lots of building works and of course the dust that goes along with it. But the convenience of having somewhere as close as this and secure is worth it. There were vans of all shapes and sizes, so we settled in and watched the sunset over the mountain. First up, we head to the Cascade Brewery. Set in the foothills of South Hobart beneath Mount Wellington, it's Australia's oldest continuous running brewery. The tour takes around 2 hours and you're rewarded at the end with a tasting paddle of 4 of the beers. Then it was back to the showgrounds to do some washing and a grocery shop. We settled down with a drink and watched another sunset over Mount Wellington. scallop on a stick. Nearly as good as a scallop pie.
I'll show you both quickly. Not a blue one.
Don't put lead your bits on.
The next day it was off to the market. We did some food and wine tastings before heading to the Lark Distillery to do some whisky tastings. This was the whisky that we had on the ship on the way over, so we were really looking forward to that. The Lark Distillery was the first licensed distillery in Tasmania since 1839. Established in 1992, Bill Lark realised that everything you need for a world-class whisky was here in Tasmania. Rich fields of barley, an abundance of wonderful pure soft water, highland peat bogs, and the perfect climate to bring all the ingredients together in a marriage of science, art and passion to produce Australia's malt whisky. Rich in character with a big finish. Whisky doesn't really become whisky until the cork is popped and someone pours it into a glass and enjoys it. It's an experience, and I think that underpins why we do what we do. Then it was time to find somewhere for lunch. The Cat and Fiddle Arcade. It was a highlight when we were kids, and a visit to Hobart was not complete without watching the cow jump over the moon. Then it was time to get back on the bus and head to the showgrounds. Okay, so it was a big day. Then we get ourselves organised to head off tomorrow before we watch another sunset over Mount Wellington.
Well, thank you, Hobart.
Yep.
What a great time. Crossed off a few things that that we wanted to do, which was good. Did you enjoy it, Mel? Good. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, was it? So today we leave Hobart and head up the east coast, and we just gone a slightly different way. The Tasman Bridge was closed because of an event, so we ended up coming across the Bowen Bridge, which is just out in Glenorchy, and the road's taken us up over Grassy Tree Hill. I've never been this way before. Really pretty, very steep. So it's a back way into Richmond. So we're going to sneak up this way. Swansea is our destination for tonight. So we're going to see how that. Well, I'm not sure what time we're going to get there. We're going to do a few bits and pieces, hopefully on the way. Okay, so we're going to turn left on B31 Richmond Road, and we'll catch you guys a little bit later on. Bye.
It's not long and we make it to the tiny hamlet of Richmond. It's a charming little town about 24 kilometres northeast of Hobart. Rich in history and architecture, it has more than 50 historic buildings, mostly from the 1820s. It's also in the centre of one of Australia's fastest growing wine regions, the Coal River Valley. An important convict station, Richmond linked Hobart with Port Arthur and is known for housing fascinating landmarks including Australia's oldest intact jail, 1825, and Australia's oldest remaining Catholic church, St John's, built in 1836. A short stop off to have a look at the bridge and of course the ducks.
Well, you can't not stop at the old Richmond Bridge. It's steeped in history and provided Access for the rural people on this side of the creek to actually get to market. Weathered numerous floods over the years, some quite severe. But the arches seem to be the thing. We look at the arches at the bridge in Campbelltown and a very similar design.
The Richmond Bridge is a heritage listed arch bridge. It is the oldest stone span bridge in Australia. The foundation stone for the bridge was laid in December 1823 and construction continued using convict labour until the completion in 1825. It is constructed of sandstone quarried from Butcher's Hill, hauled to the construction site by convicts using handcarts. After leaving Richmond, the drive winds up around Black Charlie Sugarloaf and the Busmigall Hill. It then descends slowly past what I think is one of the most spectacular drives in Tassie. This last section follows the Prosses River into the seaside town of Orford. Just before you hit town, there is an information bay with info on the area, including marine cruises, fishing, and the 30-minute ferry ride to Maria Island, which leaves from Triabunna just a short drive up the road. We took the turn out to Shelley Beach at Orford. Now, Shelley Beach and Spring Beach are places that we'd never been before, and with a spectacular view of Maria Island in the background. How cool's that? Heading into Triabunna, we make this our lunch stop, where we found a spot out of the wind overlooking the bay and watching one of the ferries heading to the island. Continuing along the Tasman Highway, this is a pretty special drive as it follows the coastline with the hazards at Coles Bay as a backdrop. Stopping at the Spiky Bridge, which sits to the edge of the current highway, this gives us a chance to stretch our legs and marvel at this creation and read about its history from the information boards.
It was initially called Lafarelle's Bridge. Thomas Lafarelle was the surveyor and civil engineer who served as assistant superintendent of the Rocky Hill Station from May 1843 to June 1845. He most likely supervised the erection of the bridge. The reason why spikes were incorporated in the design remains elusive. However, did they serve a structural purpose such as strengthening the lime mortar capping? Were they to prevent cattle straying off the edge? Or were they just a folly of Lafarelle's? Who knows?
We had one more stop before Swansea, Kate's Berry Farm. I'll let the pictures do the talking, other than to say Kate's hugely popular Just Dessert Cafe, with its mouth-watering menu, overlooks rows of berries to breathtaking views across Great Oyster Bay. From a cool climate berries, Kate offers a variety of sumptuous jams, sauces and jellies that reflect the full flavour of her fruits. Whoa, morning. Wow, and what a cracker it is. So we stayed last night at Swansea. Liz's sister has a little shack there, and so we spent the evening, or the afternoon and evening with them. Really great to catch up. And again, you know, this trip was about catching up with family and friends and discovering these lesser known places in Tasmania. And this is probably another one that may be a little bit off the beaten track. This place is called Dolphin Sands. So it sits on the other side of the river from Swanwick and Coles Bay. So in the background is sort of the edge of the hazards you can see. It's not as popular as Coles Bay itself or Swanwick, but some nice big blocks, nice views, nice little beach. There's a little reserve down right here at the point where the boat ramp is. So yeah, really special. Yeah, we've just actually seen one of the oyster boats returning. So he's been out to do their leases for the morning and heading back, I guess, and shucking them and things. So we're going to hopefully catch up with them a little bit later in the day. Maybe oysters for morning tea, who knows. There we go. All right, well, we're going to head off shortly and head through to Bicheno is the plan today. A little bit of a hiccup. There's nowhere to camp in Bicheno. We've chosen the caravan park for a couple of days and didn't return phone calls, but they're full, so they've got nowhere for us to go. So we found a little camp which we think should be quite good towards the Aspley Gorge National Park. A little bit different to what we would normally do. We try and be at the beach. We want to be at the beach, but I don't think it's that far away, and we'll endeavour to get to the beach. Mel wants to do a little bit of shell scurrying around and things like that, so lovely. All right, catch you guys later. Yeah, well, there you go. We've come around and the boys have just come back in from the oyster leases. I'll take my glasses off, that's better. And so that'll be probably today's fresh catch. So they'll go in and start chucking them ready to sell out of the shop. But we're going to go up the road a little bit further and go into towards Coles Bay, because there is another little oyster place that actually cooks them and you can have them on site. So we're going to sneak up around there. But there you go, you've seen the boat. Obviously there's a high-ab on it, the baskets with the oysters in it. So yeah, there'll be today's. Beautiful. Well, that's what I call morning tea.
Oh my God, that oysters, they were beautiful.
A nice little white wine and oysters for morning tea. Does it get much better than that,
No,
Elizabeth, does it?
It does not.
Well, that's what we do.
Yes. Thank you, Freycinet Marine Farm.
Beautiful.
As we mentioned earlier, we were unable to secure a camp in Bicheno itself. However, Liz had been able to get us a spot at the Douglas River campground a few k's further north. We had to go to the farmhouse to collect a key, which gave us access to this amazing campground on the other side of the road. With access to both fresh water from the Douglas River and salt water from the ocean beach. The day was a bit overcast, windy and threatening to rain. We found a spot where we would be a little sheltered from the wind and set up camp. We went for a walk down to the beach and there was lots of driftwood piled up. I would say the kids had had a hell of a time over the Christmas break. By mid-afternoon we were watching the mist roll in over the mountains, producing some fine, uncomfortable rain. But by dinner time it had eased off, so we rolled out the Weber for pizza night. Morning. What another cracker. Bit overcast this morning. We had a bit of easterly or southeasterly weather come in late yesterday afternoon, and we ended up covered in a bit of sea mist, which is quite wet. You don't really, it's not like rain, it's just a mist, but it just wets you to the core, and it turned very cold. Anyway, we had pizzas for tea, and as always, awesome. Well, I just thought I'd come down and show you, this is the entrance to a little rivulet that goes out into the ocean, and this is not quite normally what we'd see on our pristine beaches. So I'd suggest, and I don't know, if somebody does know from around the east coast of Tasmania as to what this is all about, please let us know. But there's an awful lot of wood, timber, carnage at the mouth of this river. Now, I'm supposing, making an assumption that it floods from time to time, and this is debris that's flowed down with the flood and obviously didn't make it out into the ocean, which is probably a good thing for the mariners out there. But a picturesque beach, and what have we got now? Probably about half tide coming in. Yeah. It's a cracker. All right, well today, what are we doing today? We're going to head up towards St Helens and probably even further north than that. We're currently at a little spot on the Douglas River. It's a little farm stay, and a very nice one too. Very well laid out, plenty of room. Looks like there's sort of some semi-permanents here. Down the track a bit further there was a few caravans with roofs put over the top and water tanks attached and things like that, so they probably come and spend a bit of time here. Met Ian last night, he's the host, and a very nice looking little farm. As I said, St Helens, probably refuel, depends, we might get there morning tea time or lunch. If lunch, we might even look at some fish and chips. If not, up to Eddystone Point. I really want to go up. We went up that way 12 months ago, but we didn't have our park pass, and apparently the road is maintained by the national parks up here, so you do need a permit to travel on that road. So I want to take you into Eddystone, have a quick look around there, and we may even stay at a place called Deep Creek, which is basically a little bit further up the road from the lighthouse at the bottom end of Mount William National Park. Depending on what time we get there as to whether and what's about there and what it looks like, we'll either stay there or we'll come back out and we'll head up into Mussel Row. Now, I did promise Melissa that we'd spend a couple of days at Mussel Row, particularly on the eastern beach. She's a great shell gatherer, if you hadn't noticed. So enjoys fossicking along the beach. So her bit of a holiday is drawing to a close. So we want to maximise that for her. And then then we're back into Launceston Friday, maybe Saturday, pop her on the plane on Sunday. So she's had a bit of a whirlwind trip, and then we'll take a deep breath and head back to our little agenda that we've got.
All right, well, we'll catch up with you guys through the course of the day as we visit some of these places. I'm going to finish my cup of tea and then go back and organise a bit of breakfast and get packed up. Cheers, catch us down the track. Well, we've got a system probably like most people have. Liz does one side, I do the other. And then just before I leave, we've a bit of a walk around, and then I go around and just make sure that all the catches are clipped on the stone stomper. We've got these set up so these ones are that way, these ones are that way, so I sort of know that they're done up. We check the over centre catches in the back, make sure that they're all pinned, the deck's firm. There's nothing worse than getting down the road and going, did I do this, did I do that? So it's just become total habit now to check all these and make sure that they're right. All locked in, all secure, so we are ready to go.
1 minute later.
So of course we check the coupling to make sure that the brakes are plugged in, the power's connected to the van, and I usually just quickly open the door and make sure that the DC to DC charge is working, just to make sure. It'd be nothing worse than getting to where you're going and then realising that the thing hadn't been charging all day. The coupling's connected, clipped in, and the handbrake's off. It's probably one of those things, it's like the bloke that has backed the boat in the water without the bung. You've either done it or you're yet to do it. And it's the same thing with a handbrake on a caravan or a trailer. One day you're going to drive off with a handbrake on. So once you do, then you always go and check it. So for someone that's been there, done that, we know. And you just, yeah, once you take off, you sort of go, oh, there's a bit more drag, and then of course the penny will drop. But yeah, make sure that that's locked down, and again, we're good to go. Well, the boat ramp at St Helens. So this is the one on the outside of the bar. The old barway can be pretty treacherous at times. So many years ago they actually built this lovely big boat ramp outside the bar so that guys could get in and out with their boats to get out into the ocean without having to cross the St Helens bar. Pretty smart idea, really. And there you go. Lunch on the road. Savaloys. Thanks Battery World for doing what you do so we can do what we do.
lighthouse was established in 1889. It is a range of 26 nautical miles and is 35 metres high, with an elevation of 42 metres above sea level. There you go, the Eddystone Point Lighthouse. One of many lighthouses spread up the east coast of Tasmania to aid the safety of mariners as they head towards the island, and as they did on their way to Van Diemen's Land many years ago. The old boat ramp, they've done a bit of work to it and over all that time, because it's used to be just gravel and beach rock, so they've obviously done a bit, and you got a chance to get in and out of the swell, load the boat on and off the trailer, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we used to dive out on those rocks just out past the point there. Any amount generally have cray. The beauty of this place, even if you can't get the boat in, you could always come in, you could snorkel out around some of the reefs. So yeah, it was a great spot. Old Eddystone Point. Then it was off to find and set up camp.